Hello everyone, welcome to Bajirao IAS Academy previous year questions analysis. Today is 24th November 2023. We have been analyzing the previous year question paper of UPSC 2022 General Studies paper 1. Yesterday we have discussed few questions and we also understood how we can structure those answers. And today we have few more questions. The first question is, discuss the meaning of color-coded weather warnings for the cyclone-prone areas given by Indian Meteorological Department. So this question we need to answer in 150 words, and this is 10 marks question. Now, before writing this answer, in the introduction, you can start with the vulnerability of India with respect to cyclones, and you can start with such data. You can write the data of India's vulnerability of those cyclones, and you can also introduce about the Indian Meteorological Department, and you can also define what exactly the color-coded weather warnings mean. Now see here, Indian Meteorological Department issues color-coded weather warnings in different colors. So if you look at the first color, this is the blue color. So this is the cyclone notice color. So in this, generally what happens that whenever IMD issues a warning in this particular color, so there will be no immediate threat. So there will be no immediate threat. So in fact, even though there is no threat, there will be a potential for a cyclone. The cyclone has been developing and that is expected to affect a local area within the next 5 years, within next 5 days. Sorry. So therefore, the residents are advised to take adequate precautions. Not just the residents, but even the administration and the local departments have to take the adequate precautions so that the damage could be reduced. Now, secondly, IMD also issues another a warning in another color, that is yellow color. So this is what this means. It is cyclone watch. A cyclone is expected to affect a local area within 48 minutes. So if a cyclone is expected to affect a local area within 48 hours, then the cyclone watch warning is issued by IMD. So therefore, residents should continue necessary precautions once the cyclone watch warning is issued. So after that, there is also a cyclone warning, and that is being issued in the orange color. And what does this mean? So this means that a cyclone is expected to affect the local area within the next 24 hours. So therefore, the residents who are living in that particular area should complete the preparation and be ready to seek shelter. Okay, so because the cyclone is expected to affect that area within 24 hours, therefore adequate measures have to be taken. And the next warning is the cyclone warning, and this is issued in the red color. So what does this mean? A cyclone which is imminent and residents are advised to seek shelter immediately. So this is the meaning of the red alert that is being issued by IMD. So after that, there's also all clear weather coded option being issued by the IMD. So this means that the cyclone has made the landfall. Okay, so the threat of cyclone has already passed. So therefore, residents are advised to beware of fallen power lines, flooded streams, and storm chasers traveling back to Townsville at high speed. Because whenever the landfall happens, then also the post-cyclone impacts continues. So therefore, this warning, make sure that all the residents be careful about the post-cyclone impacts. However, when you write the introduction, you can just introduce this in a manner. So IMD has a color coding system. So This question is all about IMD issuing a color coded warnings for cyclones. So IMD has its own color coding system, and this color coding system is used for warning and information dissemination with respect to cyclones. So the color codes are generally used by the Indian Meteorological Department to specify the intensity of the situation and also the warnings which are being associated with these color coded systems, because it will be easier for the residents and for the media and for the government to understand the severity of these cyclones, thereby appropriate precautionary measures can be taken. However, these warnings are mainly part of the preparedness program for handling the natural disasters like cyclone. So whenever it comes to handling of cyclone, then these color coded cyclone warnings become handy. So therefore the main objective that we need to understand here is that these warnings will alert the people who are living in the hazardous weather conditions. So therefore it could reduce the potential damages to properties and lives as well. So given below here, the area where it is marked in pink is indicating the cyclone prone area. For example, parts of West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and even parts of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Gujarat. So these are the vulnerable areas or the vulnerable regions. So the next image, around 7,516 kilometers of total coastline. India has 76% of this much of a coastline is vulnerable to or prone to cyclones and tsunamis. So therefore these color coded weather warnings are very important when it comes to India, right? So again we have given this color coded weather warnings, and firstly a green one, no severe weather, okay, everything is fine, and yellow, be aware, because within 48 hours there may be a cyclone that is going to impact a local area. And when it comes to the orange one, within 24 hours a cyclone may hit a particular area, so therefore be prepared. And when we talk about the red alert, then this is indicating that a cyclone is going to impact or going to hit one particular area, so therefore the residents in that area should be prepared. So in a detailed way, when we discuss this in a detailed way, green, so this code means all is well, everything is fine, so there is no likelihood of any adverse weather related or no advisories will be issued when it comes to the green. And secondly, there's an yellow color coded warning, and yellow generally describes be aware of a cyclone. Okay, so this warning is issued to make sure that everyone be prepared to tackle a cyclone. Now with the likelihood of a severely bad weather that could last several days at a longer stretch, okay, and this particular warning also suggests that the weather could take a turn for the worse and upset the daily activities of the people in the area where the cyclone has going to impact. So after that there's also another color coded warning, so that is orange color, and this means be prepared. So Indian Meteorological Department generally issues the orange alert as a warning for extremely bad weather conditions. So in case of an extremely bad weather conditions because of a cyclone, then only IMD issues orange color warning. Okay, so generally it signifies the electricity blackouts and even in fact impacting or disrupting the communication between two different villages or two different cities. So in that case also IMD issues the orange code. After that IMD also issues red color pattern, red color code for the cyclone. So IMD issues the highest level of warning. So whenever IMD issues red color warning, so it indicates the highest level of warning among all other colors. So therefore this means that that area should be prepared for a cyclone, and it is important to take all appropriate and necessary measures. So therefore, in order to prevent the loss of life and damage to property and infrastructure, IMD issues the red color coded warning, so that all the residents, all the departments and the government agencies and the media will take appropriate action based on these warnings. Okay, so when IMD issues this warning is issued whenever weather is going to impact the travel, and in fact it disrupts the communication, and even power blackouts happen, and even in fact IMD believes that the cyclone is very severe and it in fact leads to the loss of life in a large scale, then only the color coded patterns will be issued. For example, in 1999 Odisha has experienced a super cyclone. So in this super cyclone, around 10,000 people were died. Okay, so around 10,000 people were died. So in order to minimize the loss of lives due to these cyclones, IMD has developed these color coded weather patterns. Okay, so therefore it will help quickly disseminate the important information with respect to these cyclones, and make sure the departments, the government agencies and the people who are residing in those coastal areas are on high alert with respect to these cyclones, and even the evacuation plans have already put in place, and relief camps and shelters should also be set up by the government. Now apart from that, the IMD has also issues a 4-stage warning during cyclones. Okay, 4-stage warning during cyclones. So it constitutes in the first stage. This stage is also called as a pre-cyclone watch, and it is normally issued before 72 hours in advance. Okay, so generally 72 hours in advance this warning is being issued. Okay, and this warning contains an early warning about the development of a cyclone disturbance. Second stage, a cyclone alert, and it is being issued at least 48 hours in advance of a cyclone, and this generally contains information about the commencement of adverse weather over a coastal areas. So the third stage, and this third stage is also called as cyclonic warning, and this stage is also issued prior to 24 hours of a cyclone. Okay, in advance of 24 hours. So this indicate the landfall point is forecast at this stage. Now where the cyclone is going to make a landfall is generally known by this stage, or indicated by this third stage, that is cyclone warning. And the fourth stage, the post landfall outlook. So whenever the cyclone has made a landfall, then the fourth stage warning will be issued by the IMD, and the fourth stage warning means that it will be issued at least 12 hours in advance the expected time of landfall. So this is all about the cyclone warning that is being issued by the Indian Meteorological Department. However, these cyclone warnings are helped in minimizing the loss of lives and loss of damages to property and infrastructure, and it also helps the administrative agencies equipped with adequate information over the landfall of these cyclones, and that is very important to ensure that we do not lose lives because of these cyclones. And the next question is about Deccan traps. So discuss the natural resource potential of Deccan traps. So in this images you are seeing The color which is marked in green is the region where these Deccan traps are located. Okay, so they spread in the states of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and even parts of Karnataka and Telangana. Okay, so this region is Deccan traps. And apart from these areas, we also have the other areas. For example, the Gondwana and Vindhyan areas, and the Precambrian region. So this is all Precambrian region, Tertiary and recent Pleistocene regions. Okay, so this is sedimentary, and so the regions and the characteristics of those regions were indicated in this map. Secondly, the area which is marked in red color is also showing the Deccan traps. Okay, so this is the area where the Deccan traps are located. Now the question is, discuss the natural resource potential of Deccan traps. So when you're writing introduction, you briefly introduce what are Deccan traps. Now Deccan traps were formed 65 million years ago. So they were formed in 65 million years ago. And how they formed? They formed through massive volcanic eruptions. So they are volcanic in origin. They are volcanic in origin. So in fact, these Deccan traps consist of a vast igneous province in India. Okay, so all these Deccan traps consist of vast igneous rocks. So therefore, the region's distinct step-like landscape. Okay, so the landscape of this area similar to a step-like landscape, and this was created by the deposition and solidification of basalt lava. And this since it is volcanic in origin, the Deccan traps were formed by deposition and solidification of basalt lava, and it has been encompassing around 500,000 lakh square kilometers. Okay, so the entire stretch of the Deccan traps. So as I have already told you, these Deccan traps are located in the states of Maharashtra. They are located in the states of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and parts of these Telangana and parts of Karnataka. Now what is the natural resource potential of these Deccan traps? So in fact, Deccan traps is known to host natural resources. For example, it is known for a huge mineral resources. The mineral resources in the sense, these Deccan traps consist of basalt, laterite, and bauxite. Now bauxite is a raw material for aluminium. So this basalt is used in construction, while laterite and bauxite are essential for cement and aluminium industry. So they are also minerals, and they also used for a wide variety of finished products. So when we talk about an example, Maharashtra's Chandrapur district, so it is known for abundant deposits of coal and limestone, and the coal and limestone both are important for cement industry in this area. Now after that, the water resources, since majority of these Deccan traps were made with the basalt rocks, they were made with porous basalt rocks. So because of this reason, the basalt rocks, the porous basalt rocks, Deccan traps play a vital role in groundwater recharge. Okay, so it helps in maintaining the groundwater table, and then it also supports agriculture in the area. So if we talk about an example, Godavari and Krishna river basins originating in the Deccan traps provide irrigation and drinking water supply in those regions. So in fact, both Godavari and Krishna rivers are known for providing alluvial soil in the delta regions, and in fact, the agriculture which is being practiced in the Deccan trap region can be assumed to this water resources in the Deccan region. So after that, we should also talk about the soil fertility. And generally, cotton is being cultivated in Gujarat and Maharashtra. So intense cultivation of cotton. So the major reason for the same is because of the formation of the black soil. And black soil is generally assumed to the Deccan traps. So Deccan traps have created fertile black soil. This fertile black soil can be used for the cultivation of several crops like cotton, sugarcane and pulses. So after that, Deccan traps are also known for generating a huge amounts of energy also, because Deccan traps region is considered as the one of the most important and most potential renewable energy generation areas. Okay, so because it has a huge potential for the generation of wind and solar power in the region, and this can be assumed to the topography and the climate of the Deccan traps. So the example is Maharashtra's Satara district. It hosts numerous number of wind farms, and it is also contributing in generation of renewable energy. Now after that, when you write conclusion for this answer, Deccan traps hold a significant natural resource potential. So there are a lot of natural resources in the Deccan trap region. The natural resources we have already discussed, whether it is groundwater, whether it is mineral resources, and even the fertile soil. So therefore, these resources can be used for sustainable regional development. Sustainable regional development is very important in this era. And however, what we need to do is responsible extraction, utilization and the promotion of renewable energy generation. So these are the key to achieve the sustainable regional development. Otherwise, the regional development would destroy the environment in that area. So this approach will not only boost the economy but also contribute to India's growth and economy, and it also helpful for the fragile environment and ecology in that particular area. Okay, so this is how you need to conclude this answer. And the next question is about the wind power generation. So India has a huge potential for wind energy generation. So in this context, we need to explain the reasons for their limited spatial spread. Now see, why it is said that wind energy has a limited spatial spread. Now if you look at the map on the right side, so you can see majority of these wind farms are located in few states or few regions like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat and few parts of Rajasthan and even the Ladakh region and northeast India. So because of this reason, it is said that the wind energy or the wind farms have a very limited spatial spread. So in this context, when you write the introduction for this answer, you just briefly write about the wind energy generation potential in India. So India has a vast wind energy generation potential, no doubt about that. Okay, so in fact, the total energy which is generated from these wind farms is around 42.633 gigawatt. Okay, so this is the total installed capacity of wind power. So this number is by March 2023. So in fact, India is known as the fourth largest producer of wind based energy. So however, despite having a huge potential of wind energy generation, India's spatial spread of the wind energy is very limited. So this can be assumed to various reasons. So various factors, and those factors we will understand. So firstly, India's vast wind energy potential. Try and understand India's vast wind energy potential. Now, if you look at India's wind energy capacity, it is mainly spread across the southern, western and northwestern and northeastern regions only. Okay, so this is the spread of the wind energy. right? So in fact, the country's long coastline of 7,517 kilometers also makes it attractive for the development of marine energy projects, including offshore wind projects or offshore wind farms. Since India has a vast coastline, in fact, it is also suggested to use for the generation of wind energy through wind farms. So if you look at the potential of wind energy generation in India, so one such area where India has a huge potential is we have a long coastline. Okay, 7,517 kilometers of 7,517 kilometers of huge coastline. So India has a long coastline, and apart from that, the region where India is located is called as a warm tropical climate. So it provides a warm tropical climate. So therefore, this climate, the location of India along with the huge coastline, are one of the most favorable factors or suitable factors to reap the natural wind energy potential. So we can generate natural energy through the location and also the huge coastline. The second major potential of India is, it is estimated that the total India's potential in terms of wind energy generation is around 695 gigawatt. 695 gigawatt. Now, if you look at India's total energy generation capacity, it is somewhere around 394 gigawatt. Okay, so however, if you look at the total capacity or the total potential of wind energy generation in India, it is around 695 gigawatt. So therefore, in this context, if we have the necessary technology, if we have the necessary technical know-how, and if we also overcome the challenges in the wind energy generation, wind energy can become a potential future energy generation source, particularly in the context or in the backdrop of growing India's energy requirements. Thirdly, India's offshore wind potential is just 174 gigawatt. So what is offshore and onshore wind energy generation? So onshore wind energy generation is energy which is being generated on land, and when we talk about the offshore wind energy generation, offshore wind energy generation means that we have been generating energy or wind energy on sea. Secondly, there are highest energy generation potential states in India. So they are Gujarat, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala and Andhra Pradesh. So these are the states we have already seen that they have the highest potential of wind energy generation. So they have been generating highest amounts of wind energy. Now this map has been showing that there are various states with their capacity of the wind energy generation. Now if you look at Andhra Pradesh, it has been generating around 8,975 megawatt of wind energy. Tamil Nadu, it is 3,050 megawatt of renewable energy, and Kerala just 875 megawatt, Karnataka 6,620 megawatt, Maharashtra it is 3,650 megawatt, Gujarat it is also similar to Andhra Pradesh, generating around 8,975 megawatt. So these are the states or major wind energy generation states in India. Now in this context, why we have a limited spatial spread of the wind farms? So why we are not able to generate adequate amounts of wind energy in line with the potential we already have? So there are several factors that have been impacting the limited or the spatial spread of these wind farms. So first factor is low surface power density. So wind farms always have a low surface power density. So low surface power density means that the wind farms generally require a large amount of land for the generation of electricity when we compare it with the hydroelectricity and solar electricity generation, and even the bioelectricity generation. So because it requires a large land, it requires a huge surface area for the generation of power, it generally said that wind farms or wind power generation projects require, or it have, a low surface power density. Secondly, these wind farms will have a huge environmental impacts in those areas where these farms were set up. Okay, so the birds would hit with these turbines, and the wind farms can have a significant visual impact and impact on the landscape of that area, and therefore local residents or the people who are in the local areas very often opposing the wind turbines or the wind farms. Now after that, the energy sprawl is another major factor that has been impacting the wind energy projects. So what does this windfall means? The energy sprawl means, so the energy sprawl so this energy sprawl effectively means that the network of turbines, access roads, and even transmission lines. So whenever you set up a windmill, you require to transfer everything to those remote corners. So when you are transferring everything to those remote corners, you also require the additional energy. So the energy which you are producing through these turbines is it is more or less equal to the energy which is required for the maintenance of these turbines, and this has been leading to the urban sprawl in that area. Okay, so this is the major factor for the this is the major factor for energy sprawl in that area. Okay, now after that, we should also discuss about the offshore wind challenges. It is okay that we can transfer those turbines to those offshore areas, but what about the wind farms which are being set up in the offshore areas? Okay, so it also comes with various other challenges. So the challenges include that the marine spatial planning. Whenever we are going to set up these offshore wind farms, we face the marine spatial planning challenges, and these marine spatial planning has highly political, and it influences various agendas of the actors. After that, we should also discuss about the availability of resources, and since we do not have adequate domestic manufacturing capabilities, since we do not have adequate domestic manufacturing capabilities, so we need to depend on imports. Okay, so we have been depending on our imports. So availability of scarce materials needed for the manufacturing of wind turbines, and this is also another limited factor. So example is the Jaisalmer wind park in Rajasthan, which has around 1064 megawatt of wind energy generation. So the way forward is, in order to overcome the challenges that we are already mentioned, that limited spatial spread of wind energy in India, it is very important, or it is essential to address the challenges mentioned above. Okay, so different challenges we have already mentioned above in the discussion. So firstly, developing innovative wind turbine. So for that we need to do more research and development. So developing innovative wind turbine designs that require less land and have a lower visible impact. So therefore the local residents also will not oppose these projects. Now after that, we need to encourage the community involvement or the community engagement. So community participation is also very important to generate approval for the setting up of the wind farms in those areas. And community involvement is also reduces the environmental impact of these projects. So therefore it will help largely in addressing the local concerns or the local stakeholder issues. Okay, so therefore community engagement will help in planning and development of wind farms in those areas. Now after that, we should also focus on research and development. Research and development is also very important, and this is particularly for the offshore wind technologies. Now what happens with the research and development is that we can minimize the costs in terms of generation of the electricity or energy from these wind farms, particularly setting up offshore wind technologies, and that including floating wind turbines and for deeper waters. So after that, we should also focus on ensuring a sustainable resource management. Sustainable resource management is also very important. So sustainable resource management in the sense that we need to explore the alternative materials for wind turbine manufacturing, and that results in sustainability of the wind energy generation. Sustainability of wind energy generation. So if we implement all these suggestions that we are discussed as part of the way forward, then we can address the above mentioned challenges in an effective manner. That we need to engage the community, we need to focus on research and development, and we should also focus on sustainable resource management. So if we implement all these suggestions, we can overcome these challenges, and India has the potential, total wind energy generation potential of around 695 gigawatt, so that India can harness its vast wind energy generation potential, and India could also contribute significantly for the renewable energy generation targets. And see, we have already announced the Panchamrut targets. So I hope all of you know about Panchamrut targets, and the Panchamrut targets mandate that India to be net zero by 2070, and India to achieve 500 gigawatt of total energy from non-fossil fuel sources, and India to achieve around 50% of its total energy, or India to meet its energy needs up to 50% from the renewable resources. And apart from that, we also targeted that the total projected carbon emissions of our economy should be reduced to around 45% by 2030. And we are also going to reduce the amount of carbon emissions. The carbon intensity of our economy would be reduced to 1 billion ton by 2030. So in order to achieve all these targets, it is very important for us that we realize the potential of the wind energy. Now the next question is, explore and evaluate the impact of work from home on family relationships. Now after the COVID-19 pandemic, work from home has gained a lot of prominence and lot of significance. During COVID-19 pandemic, because of lockdowns and because of the fears of contamination, the physical work setting was not practiced at that period of time, at that point of time. So therefore, work from home was become a new phenomenon. Now in this context, explore, evaluate the impact of work from home on family relationships. So since majority of the time they spend their time in the family with the family members, in this context we need to understand how work from home impacts the family relationships. And this is also a 10-mark question, and you need to write this answer in 150 words only. And many workplaces are adopting the work from home. Okay, so they have been adopting work from home arrangements. So especially since the COVID-19 pandemic. So however, over 34% of the workers in US shifted to the work from home. So they were being shifted to the work from home since March 2020. So as I have already told you that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the physical office setting was not practicable. So therefore, many of the workers were working from their homes. So there was an example that around 34% of the workers in US were shifted to work from home since March 2020, and this is majorly because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now in this backdrop, work from home have a major impact on the family relationships. So apart from that, the family relationships have a very important role in the well-being and mental health of an individual, whether it is men or woman. So strong family relationships provide a crucial social support. So they ensure that there is a crucial social support for the individuals. And in fact, the strong social support will also help mitigate the psychological problems like stress, anxiety, loneliness, okay, and even the suicidal tendencies. So therefore, in this context, a strong family relationship and strong social support are very important, and that we can achieve from the work from home. However, due to rapidly growing future work arrangement, work from home may have a widespread impact on the family relationships. So in fact, it is also recognized that work from home can be a new phenomenon in future. Now every company will be looking to hire employees who are willing to work from home itself. So therefore, how it is going to affect the well-being and mental health of many of these employees. Now in this context, we need to discuss the positive impacts. So what are the positive impacts of work from home? Okay, work from home on family relationships. So firstly, it will help in strengthening the family bonding. So because majority of the workers who have been working from home, so they spend a greater amount of time with the family. So therefore, it will help strengthening the parent-child relationship, even the husband and spouse relationship as well. Secondly, whenever an individual who is a parent and working from home, there's a possibility that he could spend a majority of the time with the elders also. So now, because majority of these companies are located in urban areas, people have to migrate from their native places to these urban areas, and that results in neglect of the parents. Okay, so when they are working from home, there's also a possibility that they can take care of their elder parents. And the old age homes, in recent times there is a rapid increase in old age homes, and this trend can also be reversed. Now after that, healthy habits in the sense that when they are working from home, they can take care of their health, okay, and they can also eat healthy food. So therefore, taking ample amount of rest and even eating healthy home food. And work from home restricts habits such as smoking, drinking. They are considered as bad habits, and they are not good for the health. So therefore, it also helps in inculcating or developing healthy habits whenever individuals have been working from home. And secondly, the work efficiency also improves whenever they have strengthened healthy social relationships or social bonds with their family members, and they are spending greater amount of time with their family. There is a possibility that it also increases the work efficiency of those employees. So therefore, it will be a win-win situation both for the companies and for the employees and even the families of the employees. Okay, so that is the positive aspect of work from home. Secondly, we should also talk about the negative impacts of work from home. So what are the negative impacts of the work from home? So it also comes with several negative or side effects. So in fact, during pandemic, around 33% of women have faced domestic violence, and this was also recognized by UN as shadow pandemic. So therefore there's also a possibility that work from home further fuel or further increase the domestic violence against the women in the families. So there were some cases of increasing domestic violence, and that can be assumed for increasing work from home. So when working remotely, it becomes rather a simpler for work related problems to impact the marital and family relationships. For example, employees might have been going through some work related stress and the psychological tensions. So they may show this stress on their parents, their kids, and even their spouses. So therefore there will be a chances of domestic violence. Now after that, there will be a huge distraction whenever the employees have been working from home. For example, watching TVs, doing private work, and taking care of the child. So all these factors are very big distractors. So there's also a possibility that the employees may not be able to work as efficiently as possible, similar to when they are in the physical environment. Now after that, there will be a mental exhaustion as well, because whenever they are working from home, so there will be a strict deadlines for these companies, a very rigid deadlines, and employees who are attending more meetings to make sure one is accountable. Now from the work from home, companies may not be able to hold employees accountable. So in order to ensure employees accountable, the companies have been holding more and more meetings, and that further builds up stress and psychological tension, anxiety among these employees. However, when you write the conclusion, we need to talk about strengthening the communication. Both intrapersonal and interpersonal communication is very important with the family members and also with the employees of the company. And after that, we should also focus on conflict resolution skills, and that will help an employee in the company and even in the family as well. So that helps in developing a peaceful life. Okay, so after that, we need to divide the responsibilities, whether he is in a family, whether he is working with the particular group of people. So dividing responsibilities, and in fact having a dedicated workspace. Even if a particular employee is working from home, having a dedicated workplace would help him maintain a distance from these distractions. So therefore all these factors will have to be implemented in future, because it is very often said that work from home is going to be the future. Majority of the workers are just working from home because it also significantly reduces the cost for these companies. Okay, so therefore since in future work from home may become a norm, it is very important that we need to identify the negative characteristics or negative impact of the work from home and try to address those negative impacts. Okay, so this is all about the work from home question, and that is being asked in the question in this question paper. Okay, so that's it for today, and tomorrow also we will discuss few more answers for the previous year questions. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit the bell icon. Thank you.